Okay. Hello, folks. I don't know how many people we got coming on.
I just got a message saying my network was slow and suggested I turn off my camera. So if my camera goes off in the middle of the thing, that might be why, and I'll call it out. But
cool. I'll give you a tip. Put on sunglasses because I guarantee you it's going to freeze at like a blink.
Yeah, right. That's weird looking. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. So we're just going to give this another couple of minutes. We got folks dialing in. Attendees are cranking up. And if we've fired up the chat so far, if you're logging in right now, let us know where you're calling in from. We'd love to hear. So we can wish you a happy breakfast, lunch, dinner, midnight snack. We have people from all over registered here, so this is going to be a wide-reaching call for sure.
Got people blowing up the chat here, Johnny. We got Stan Norman from Plano, Texas calling in. We got Columbia, South Carolina, Jim. We got John Kelch from Oregon. We got Chris from Oregon as well. Jeff Jones from Montana. Yeah. Got lots of people blowing up the chat. Thank you guys for being here today.
Great. And keep in mind, everybody who's logging in, this is being recorded and going to be put up on YouTube. So if you want to tag us on your private YouTube channel, please feel free. Please don't do that if it's like a crazy thing. So we're at 86. I'm going to give it a couple more seconds, and we'll jump right into the presentation here. We'll start talking about ESX, which was an event that happened last week in Fort Worth, Texas, hosted by ESA. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with that. I think if we hit 100, we'll hit go. We're getting close.
Let's give some more shout outs in the chat here. We got Chris calling in from Saskatchewan. I hope I said that correctly. I believe that's in the Great White North, Canada. Thanks for being here, Chris. Austin from Southern California, thank you for joining. We got Greg out in Reno, Josh from Toronto, Donald from Halifax, Jen from Kansas. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for being here. We're really, really excited. I think, Johnny, it'd probably be a good time to kind of get started and get rolling on into this.
Great. So you guys can see my screen. The presentation's popping up, ESX recap.
Yes, sir, it's there.
Cool. Yeah, so for everybody who couldn't make it to ESX, this is a show that they host every year, similar to ISC. Vendors, reps, dealers, everyone in the industry kind of comes out and learns more about the new products that are going to be getting released. Johnson Controls this year has a line of new products that are going to be coming out. Jason's going to be talking about it soon. A lot of these products we've been teasing over the last couple of months. We're going to get a little bit more granular later. Jason will let you know about some of the new demonstrations and webinars we're going to have coming down the road. As for ESX, it was a great event. We had our booth set up. We had all of our panels up and live. We had folks coming by and asking questions. Met a lot of old friends. My old company is from DFW, so I had a lot of friends in the area. Nice thing about the event, we actually won 3 awards, 3 innovation awards in 2022. One of them is the IQ Wi-Fi 6, which we had a demonstration on a few weeks back. Also the IQ Pro, which is our new commercial grade panel. And we also won an award for the IQ Lockdown. All of these devices are going to be launching later in the year. But today we wanted to just kind of give you a quick overview of these, as well as some of the other products we have coming out. And again, great event. A lot of nice people. Fort Worth is a very nice city that's got some great restaurants and bars, and we had a great time there. So without further ado, Jason Horton is one of our technical account managers. Just wanted to introduce him and let him kind of run over some of the new products and services you guys are going to be seeing pop up at some of your distribution centers over the next couple of months. So Jason, take it away.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. As he mentioned, we were showing off a lot of really cool products at ESX. We've got a lot to be excited about this year. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming out, so excited to run you guys through this. We're going to keep it fairly high level today. Kind of a quick overview, cover some of the the top bullet points for each of these products. And then try to keep the webinar somewhat short today. So we're not going to go super technical today. That said, over the next few months, we are going to do some technical workshops that are focused on each one of these products. So if you want to learn more, we'll do a separate webinar where we really get into the weeds on each of these. So again, today we're just going to keep it high level. Some of these we've already done some workshops on, so I'll call those out in case you want to go to YouTube and look those webinars up. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys an overview of what's coming. We've got, again, a lot to share. So one of the first products that is fairly new that we're really excited about is what we're calling the IQ photoelectric beams. If you're familiar with photoelectric beams, for a long time, they've typically been something that needed to be hardwired, right? You're covering a perimeter, you're covering an entrance. Typically these things need to be, again, hardwired, so you're trenching the line. In fact, we just spoke to somebody, 2 weeks ago that trenched hundreds of feet to install some photoelectric beams that were hardwired, and he thought, man, had I known that you guys had this, it would have saved me tons of hours and tons of time and tons of money. So this is our IQ photoelectric beam. These are outdoor, of course, rated. We have a 350-foot version and a 250-foot version, and they're fully battery operated. So we partnered with Optics on these beams. Many of you guys know who Optics are. They've been around for a long time. And really, the main thing here is that we put Power G in these, right? So these are outdoor Power G photoelectric beams. They're fully battery operated. You get up to a 5-year battery life on these. Again, we've got the two different versions, a 250 and a 350-foot version, and they pair into the panel like a door sensor. I mean, they're very easy to pair. They're 100% wireless and easy to set up. So the other thing too is they're super easy to install. I've got some here on my yard just that I've been testing over the last year. They're extremely easy to set up. We've got some easy viewfinder alignment, windows on there to make lighting them up and getting them installed really simple. So these are really cool. These are out now. You guys can buy these today and install these today. These are available now. But again, just an easier take on photoelectric beams. For those of you that are using these and hardwiring photoelectric beams, we've got an easier, better solution for you. Again, you get Power G, so you get all the benefits of Power G, the two-way communication, the long range, all that good stuff. So we're excited about those. The next product here that we showed off is the IQ Lockdown. This is also a product that is available now. We actually did a technical deep dive kind of webinar just before IC, so a couple months ago. That can be found on YouTube. If you want to get into the weeds on that one, we actually kind of show you the install, talk about the certifications, and kind of deep dive into the lockdown for you. So again, go look that up on YouTube if you want some more information on this. But this is a cool new product that we've been working on for the last little while. That's kind of our take on access control. It's not really access control. It's fully remote, battery operated. It's meant for perimeter security, not perimeter security, permanent security. Right now we're doing a lot with schools. We're doing a lot with religious establishments, city buildings, basically any room that you want to lock down, right? This could be to prevent some sort of active shooter situation. This could be used in maybe a money room type of install where you want to lock in the room while you're counting the money. There's going to be tons of use cases that you could use this for. The cool thing is that it's very easy to install. You have 4 bolts to install this on the lock. And one of the biggest things is that because it's a wireless device, because it's battery operated, it doesn't have to comply with all of the typical commercial access control rules and regulations, right? It's basically looked at as a Z-Wave door lock, right? So this can be used in commercial without all of the the certifications and all the rules that access control has, and needing to unlock automatically in a power outage situation and that kind of stuff. Again, it's looked at like a Z-Wave in terms of UL and fire code and all that stuff. So these can be used in commercial buildings. We're working with a lot of schools right now to get these installed, for active shooter type of situations. But again, it's easy to install. It's fully Z-Wave, pairs in like a lock. It's easy to install, easy to pair, and we're starting to gain a lot of traction on this. This is exciting. Again, if you want more details on this, we've got a nice technical webinar on YouTube that you can go search. But these are available today. You guys can buy these today and install these today. So I don't know if yeah, we'll keep going here. Let us know if you have any questions about that. That's an exciting one. The other product that we showed that we actually have been getting a lot of really cool stories from, a lot of good feedback on, is our water valve. Now, we have also done a technical webinar on this. That's also available on YouTube. These are available today. You can go pick these up in distribution today. But this is our take on our water valve. This is a very easy to install wireless water shutoff. It literally installs in less than 30 seconds. It uses Z-Wave 700. We get really good range on Z-Wave 700 with our panel, so no plumber required. Works on pretty much any quarter turn ball valve with a 1/2 inch to 1 1/4 inch size pipe. And again, Z-Wave pairs in like any Z-Wave device. Z-Wave device will pair very easily. No plumber required. You can install this literally in a few seconds. But we're starting to get a lot of really cool stories from this. A lot of people are putting these on trucks. They're using them as upgrades. They're using them as upsells. It's a fairly easy product to upsell. A lot of our dealers are saying, and that kind of presents an opportunity to upsell additional flood sensors, right? If you got a water shutoff, you got to have flood sensors. Now, our water shutoff comes with two flood sensors today, Power G. If you buy the S-Line kit, it comes with 3 floods. And that will typically cover the main spots, right? That'll cover maybe the laundry room, maybe the furnace. But from there, it's fairly easy to upgrade, maybe some extra water flood sensors into the bathrooms, under the sinks, that kind of thing, right? The more you have, the better protected you are. But we also have a lot of cool success stories from dealers and end users of this thing shutting the water down and kind of preventing a flood. So this is a cool device that our dealers are really having good luck with, and a lot of dealers have again stuck this on trucks and they're using it as tech upsells. So cool product, easy to install. Use the Z-Wave Plus, as I mentioned. It's outdoor rated, so if you have a shutoff outdoor, it will work outdoors well. Again, just a really cool, easy to install product that has really started to gain a lot of traction, and that is available today.
Everybody at the show was checking it out, and we actually had a live version set up where you could tap one of the flood sensors and watch it shut the valve off. Another thing to keep in mind, guys, is if you're talking to homeowners every day, ask every single person you talk to how many of them know where their main water valve is. Most don't. If they don't, ask them what they would do if they started flooding. It puts a completely different spin on it when they don't know how to shut it off. And not only are we showing them where it is, we're automating the entire process for them. It's a win-win. So.
Yep, exactly.
So Jason, going back to ease of install, was it you that you had your son install it, like a child? Somebody had a child install this, right? Yeah. Is that you or was that somebody else?
Yeah. So I mentioned that we filmed a kind of a technical workshop on this, and to kind of again exaggerate a little bit how easy this install is, I had my 5-year-old do the install on video. He stands up there and slaps it on and tightens it down and plugs it in, and we were done, right? So again, if my 5-year-old boy can install this, any one of your technicians can install this pretty easily. But again, it's just we've had water valves for a long time. I've worked for companies that had them, and they've always typically been a plumber required install. That's a little bit harder to upgrade, much more costly, of course. And then you're dealing with the scheduling a plumber after the fact, and it's just been a hard product to really get out, and install very much of, right? The fact that this doesn't require a plumber, the fact that a 5-year-old can install it in 20 seconds, I think is important. I think that's really cool that you guys can throw something on the truck, upgrade it. I think everybody wants flood protection. As you know that when it comes to insurance, that's one of the top claims, right? Insurance flood claims are huge, millions and millions of dollars every year spent on flood damage. And so I think most homeowners want something like this, right? And the fact that you can install, upsell and install it there on site, not have to schedule a plumber after the fact is big, right, for our dealers. So, yep, easy install for sure.
Yeah, Jason, Kyle. Oh, sorry, Kyle Nuds asked, "Can I hire your 5-year-old son?" So you might have a job.
It's about time for him to start pulling his weight around here. So, yeah, I'd love to get him working here, help pay the rent around here.
You can install in Alabama. I don't think you need a license in Alabama.
Yeah, there you go. I'll ship them out next week. So the next product here is the IQ Power G hardwire takeover module. Now this has been out for probably about a year now. We've gotten some really good feedback. The reason we wanted to talk about this and show this is, we've made some updates. We've updated some firmware. We got some new features that we support, and then we released a new enclosure as well. So for those of you that don't know, this is our take on the hardwired to wireless translator. It is PowerG, so we get all the benefits of the two-way communication, the range, the frequency hopping, all that stuff that we love about PowerG. But this is a little bit definitely more of a feature-rich takeover module, especially when you compare it to our S-Line, 16-zone translator. You get, support for 2-wire smokes, 4-wire smokes. You get programmable outputs on there. You can add, with our latest firmware update, 1.2 firmware, you can add up to 4 zone expanders per module. That gives you up to 40 zones per module. We still only support 2 translators, but with those zone expanders, that gets you up to 80 zones total. As you can see here, these are the 2 enclosures. We've had the small enclosure out since the day we launched it. We launched in April the large enclosure, and that's just a larger enclosure, right? Allows for more room to work with all your wires. As you can see here, this one supports, we've got 4 molded slots for these zone expanders, so they click into place really nice, really easily. We've got zip tie rails and retention tabs for all of your wire routing, and it just really helps keep things really clean. We wired one up for our ESX show with all 40 zones in there, and it's incredible how clean that can be with that much wire in there. There's a lot of room in here, and again, with those zip tie rails, it just allows you to keep things really, really clean. So this PowerG translator has been awesome for us. Nothing but good feedback. Again, with the latest update, you get zone expanders. We support hardwired keypads. You can do a lot with this. This is kind of a true, a little bit more of an advanced version of the hardwired takeover module that we've traditionally been able to work with. So very exciting, a lot of cool features here. Again, not new, but we have this recent firmware update that kind of, adds additional functionality that we wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of, and then kind of show off this new cam that we launched in April.
Hey, Jason.
Now this one's, yeah, is there a question?
Yeah, just because you referenced it a few times, for everyone here listening, I put in the chat the complete series for all of the technical workshops for everything Jason just covered. So if you wanted to get a deeper dive, like Jason said, they're all on YouTube, but I put the link right in the chat there, so you guys can just click on it and view them at your leisure.
Yeah, thanks for that, Joe. I forgot to mention that one is also one that we've done deep dives on, a couple, in fact, I think. So we've gotten into the weeds on that. If you want to get into the weeds on that product, go to YouTube. And thanks for that, Joel, for dropping that link in there. Now this is a big one. IQ Remote PowerG. This is one that is long overdue. Dealers have been begging for this for a couple years now. We're excited to say that we are so close on this product. We're almost to the finish line here, but this is an IQ remote that uses PowerG, right? So for those of you that are familiar with the current IQ remote, that is 100% dependent on Wi-Fi. That can be good or bad, mostly bad, right? Considering all the networks that we're working with in some of these homes, some of them are routers that are 10 years old and, cheap internet, right? And a Wi-Fi remote just doesn't do well in some of those situations with some of these outdated internet setups, right? So this is an IQ remote that uses PowerG. So again, PowerG, as we know, we love PowerG, is extremely reliable. We get amazing range on PowerG. We're bringing that to the IQ remote. Now you'll notice that the IQ remote changed a little bit. This is based off the current IQ hub. You still get the 7-inch touchscreen, but we add the additional speakers there on the bottom. But again, an IQ remote that uses PowerG. This is something our dealers have been asking for. We're excited to get this across the finish line and get this out to you guys. I think this is going to be big. Now this is still a few months out, unfortunately. That we're probably looking at like a September, October timeframe for release on this. We'll probably go into a beta here sometime in August. But we're really excited about this. Now this remote does use both Wi-Fi and PowerG, so you technically can go either way. You get full automation support and security support over PowerG. If you want the live view piece, you got to go to the Wi-Fi. But again, these remotes can go either way. So you can pair them as a Wi-Fi remote, or you can pair them as a PowerG remote. If you're doing it the PowerG way, we support up to 8 of these. If you go on the Wi-Fi route, we still only get 3 remotes on there. But again, just a newer, better version of remotes that I think you guys have been asking for. A lot of people have been excited about it. And we're excited to say that we're almost there. This is coming out here in the next few months.
Jason, I had a question. The remote, as far as plugging it into another thing we're going to be talking about in a minute or a couple of slides here, I believe, is the IQ Pro is going. the IQ Pro is not going to have, it's going to be created for commercial. Doesn't have a screen on top of it. Typically, the activation goes through the mobile app. Is this going to be the preferred method for posting it right next to the Pro, so you at least have a panel that you'd be able to punch into and get into without mobile access, or is this not what we're going to be expecting to be that secondary control for the IQ Pro?
No, you're exactly right. So we're going to talk about the IQ Pro here. That's another really cool product that we're releasing this year. Hardwired system. So yes, absolutely. This, that system will work with a wide variety of the DSC keypads. But if you wanted to go to a touchscreen, remote keypad, then this PowerG remote will be compatible with that 100%. So
cool.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll mention that when we get to that slide. Yeah, we'll jump back into that.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's coming soon.
Yeah, so and we have August in here. That slipped unfortunately a little bit. So we're looking September, October timeframe, but we're getting close on that one. So we're excited. Hopefully you guys are excited about that. The current remotes again are kind of either a love-hate relationship. If you got good Wi-Fi, they're awesome. If you don't have good Wi-Fi, they can be a bit troublesome. So we're excited to kind of put that Wi-Fi only piece behind us and give you the option to go PowerG. Now the next product here that we're excited to mention is PowerG Plus. You may have heard us talking about this. We brought this up on maybe a few webinars in the past, but this is kind of a cool. We're basically overhauling the current PowerG portfolio, starting with the most popular devices first. As you can see here, first and foremost, we are redesigning the industrial design, right? They're all getting a facelift. We wanted them to look the same, right? We wanted them to have that kind of family style look. Every device looks the same. They look like they're meant to go together. They're a little bit modernized, right? That's the one thing with the current PowerG devices that we constantly get back, feedback on is the aesthetics of the current devices. Some of them look like they were designed many, many years ago. And so we're happy to kind of get a new modernized, better looking version of PowerG Plus devices. The other thing here is they're going to be easier to install, right? Easier to open, easier to close, easier to mount, right? That's the one thing that we really focused on here as we're designing these devices is easier, more user friendly for the installers, easier again to take apart, put back together, that kind of stuff. Johnny, next slide.
Yeah, sure.
The other thing that we're going to do here with PowerG Plus is we're updating basically the chipsets, right? Which will give us better functionality, right? So we wanted to give you guys the ability to over-the-air firmware update these sensors, right? So if there was some change, some update, anytime we needed to update the firmware, as you know, we've never really had that ability with any of our devices. And as you know, PowerG is 2A, right? So now we can push firmware directly to the devices, update them while they're in the field, while they're installed, without you guys having to roll a truck. And then we also want to give you guys the ability to lock these sensors to your panels, right? Which can help prevent, takeovers and other dealers using your sensors, that kind of thing. We're also going to kind of update, the way that they pair. If you're familiar with PowerG today, there's a few different ways to pair some of these sensors. It kind of depends on the sensor you're working with. It's either a learn button, maybe, there are a device or two out there with battery pull tabs or insert batteries. There's a few different ways to learn in PowerG device today, especially depending on the device you're working with. And if you're a new technician working with PowerG, that can be a bit confusing, right? One device that learns in with a learn button, the next device is learned in by inserting batteries, and that can be a bit confusing. So we're going to add battery pull tabs and QR code pairing to every one of these PowerG devices. That will simplify the learning process. That'll speed up the learning process, again, especially for new to PowerG technicians, right? We just wanted to make it consistent, make it easy, and try to speed that process up a little bit. And then one of the other things that we get with PowerG Plus that I'm most excited about is real-time battery status, right? We wanted to be able to display at the panel at alarm.com, exactly what the battery percentage is, right? Whether it's at 55%, 20%, 10%. That way, if you're out on a service call, you're out at someone's house and you're doing something, or maybe you're out there to replace another battery, you can kind of look at these sensors and say, oh, look, there's 3 other devices that have a battery life of below 20%. I'm going to go ahead and replace these while I'm here, so I don't have to come back out 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months from now. So we're excited about this. This is something that dealers have been asking for a long time, so we're excited that this is coming finally, and hopefully that will help reduce the number of service calls, right? Kind of allow us to be more proactive on some of these service calls, replace batteries before they die completely, Maybe you view this remotely and ship batteries out before they die, right? Better customer experience, all that kind of stuff. So kind of updating the look, the design, some of the functionality, of course, and then just simplifying learning, pairing, and allowing you guys to view battery life. So this is exciting. Now, this is something that's kind of in the works. Some of these PowerG Plus devices will hit the market here in August. But as you know, PowerG has a big portfolio, right? There's a lot of devices. So, to get every device up to PowerG is going to take a little bit of time, but we have a handful of devices, the more popular devices coming out this August. So excited about that as well.
Great.
Now, this is another awesome product. This is one that we won an innovation award for at ESX. This is something that we have been working on for a very long time in partnership with Alarm.com, in partnership with Qualcomm. This is a Wi-Fi 6 router, a mesh router system. Comparable to, most dealers are installing some sort of router today, whether it be a Eero or a Google Mesh or, there's a bunch of different mesh router systems out there today being used. A lot of them are Wi-Fi 6, right? So this is kind of the latest and greatest in Wi-Fi technology. It is Wi-Fi 6. From a router standpoint, it's going to be very comparable to a Eero or a Google Mesh or some of these other mesh systems that you're probably using today. But the big differentiator here is that it's purpose-built, right? And what do we mean by purpose-built? There's a few different things that we mean by that, right? So first and foremost, again, we've partnered with Alarm.com on this. So we've got some really cool Alarm.com integration. I'll talk about that here on the next slide. But then we've also been kind of doing some integration with the panel, right? So I want to talk about that for a minute. So the top two images that you're looking at here are going to be kind of your end user management pages, and then the bottom are going to be more of a dealer, focused management for this router. So when I say purpose-built, there's really a couple things here that differentiate this router from maybe a different router that you're using. First and foremost, it integrates directly with the panel. I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. But secondly, you get the Alarm.com piece, right? So from the same backend that you're going through today to manage your panels, you can manage these routers from, right? So that gives you, a nice, easy way to manage a router if you deploy it into a home. You go to the same toolkit that you're used to using for the router. So there's a couple different things here. So one of the other benefits is that when I say purpose-built, we have some cool integrations on the panel that kind of partition off the security devices, right? So there's really a couple different bands in the router, right? The first band is going to be something that you can choose to open up to your customer. This is the side of the router, an SSID that your customers have access to, right? With that, they can manage this 100% from the panel UI. So the screenshot here on the top left is a screenshot from the IQ Panel 4 UI. This is for your end users to manage their network from their panel, right? This gets the customer using the panel more. It's not just a security system, it's now their hub for their Wi-Fi. As we know, the more touches and the more use we get at the panel out of a customer, typically the better, the more stickier of a customer that they become, right? So just adding value to the panel, allowing the customers to manage the routers from their panel, from the same UI that they're doing their security and automation from. So as you can see here, there's a few things that your customers can do. They can get a network map. They can see exactly which devices are connected to the routers. They can manage profiles. So they can set, for example, a profile up for their kids, tablets, for their cell phones, for their Xboxes, whatever it is. And the customers can go into this page and pause those profiles, shut internet off during dinner time, that kind of thing. They can run speed tests from here. They can change their SSIDs, their passwords. They can enable their guest network directly from the IQ Panel 4, displays a QR code. The guest can scan the QR code and connect to the guest network that way very easily without actually having to share a password or anything like that. So this gives your end user some cool management of their network directly from the keypad. Now the screenshot on the top right is their app, right? So same thing, they can manage it from the panel, or they can manage it from their app. So from their Alarm.com app on their phone, same thing, right? They can go in, they can view their network, they can see what devices are connected, they can pause the internet to certain devices, they can reboot a router, they can push an update, all sorts of stuff, right? So this is giving your customers, again, I think this is really important, the ability to manage their own network from a UI that they're familiar with. They're already using it for their security, they're already using it for their automation. Now they can manage their Wi-Fi from here. Now the screenshots on the bottom. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, if somebody doesn't have an IQ panel, is this still a product that they'd be able to sell independently if they were installing a different panel as just a router?
Yeah, absolutely, right. So, the panel piece is certainly cool, but yeah, certainly, maybe you have a 2 gig system out there, right? And you need a good router that, again, is kind of purpose built for security. You still get the alarm.com integration, right? You still get the management from the back end. So absolutely, do not need an IQ4 to set up a Wi-Fi 6. Good question.
But it works better with.
Now, the screenshot. Yeah, what was that?
It works much better when you have the IQ.
Yeah, it does work better. Yeah, go back one more slide for me, John. And
Sure.
Finish up there real quick. So, no, you're no problem. So the screenshots on the bottom are kind of more the dealer side, right? So when it comes to setting up, a Wi-Fi 6 router, we've given you guys the ability to set it up, configure it, get it working 100% from the Qualys panel. Again, a UI that your technicians are familiar with, they get it, it's user friendly, right? We're not going to require them to open up a laptop and log into the back end by typing in an IP address, right? Now that's still there, that's still available, but we wanted to make sure that this was an easy install, right? So we give you guys the ability to set this up from the panel UI, configure it, right? And then also on the alarm.com side. So again, that same toolkit that you're going to manage your panels today, you get to go to and manage your Wi-Fi router, right? So remotely reboot a router, push an update, change an SSID, change a password, that kind of thing. But one of the cool things about the router here is that we've partitioned off what's available to the end user and what's available to the dealer, right? And what that does is allows you guys to keep your security devices, your cameras, your doorbell cameras, your IQ remotes, whatever it is, on its own partition and its own band, not conflicting with the kids' Xboxes, not conflicting with the Netflix being streamed all day long, right? And kind of allows you to close off a piece of the router that is just for you, just for your devices, allows you to keep things connected, allows you to all manage it remotely from the back end, that kind of thing. So again, I think this is very comparable to some of the other mesh routers you're using today. It's Wi-Fi 6, just like some of the other Wi-Fi 6 routers out there. But I think the big differentiator here is that it's fully manageable and configurable from the panel UI, and you get the alarm.com backend piece, right? So that's going to help, I think, reduce service calls, allow you guys to do more remote management, that kind of thing. We're already out doing service calls for Wi-Fi today like crazy. Now you get to manage that from your office, from alarm.com type of thing, right? Next slide, Johnny.
Great.
So this is coming. This is in beta today. Coming June's probably a little early. This has slipped, but we are planning to release this at the very beginning of August. We've got some very, Wi-Fi, technical workshops. Again, very technical kind of deep dive workshops in the works. We're going to spend a lot of time over July, teaching people about this router, again, deep diving, getting into the weeds on this. So look for, an email to join any of those webinars. That's going to be a major effort for us in July, is kind of getting the word out about this, before launch in August. But again, alarm.com management, it's a mesh network. We support up to 8 nodes. Pair all your cameras, your doorbells, your panels, and we support OFDMA, which is, I couldn't tell you exactly what the acronym means, but it basically manages. We get a lot of questions. Does your Wi-Fi 6 router support OFDMA, right? The question is yes, we do. And that basically just manages the traffic on the router, makes things much more efficient, much more faster. So we get a lot of questions about that. That's why we threw that into here. But again, coming out in August, we're excited about this. Beta will probably start here soon, before launch. We might be able to get you some units for testing. So reach out to your local TAM, your local sales guy, and keep an eye out for an invite to some webinars that we're planning.
Hey, Jason. I got this question popping in the chat here quite a bit. Is there any monthly RMR associated with the Wi-Fi 6?
That's a great question, and the answer to that is no monthly RMR from alarm.com for this. That'll be something that you can set up and activate and enable for free to you guys. At least for now. It's definitely going to be managed by alarm.com, but for now, we haven't been told that there's going to be an RMR piece for this. Now, IQ Panel 4. This has been out for a little while. You guys know all about this panel. We really stuck this in here to kind of set up the next 2 products that we're going to talk about. As you know, this is our latest flagship panel. This was the direct replacement for IQ Panel 2. Next slide, Joni. So this is really kind of the premium offering, right? This one gives you all the new features, you know, the new install mount. You know, you get the 8-megapixel camera with flex tilt, which allows you guys to, you know, adjust the camera up and down. I think probably all of you guys are using this panel today, so there's not really a whole lot to spend time on here. But again, this kind of sets up kind of the next two panels that kind of go down market and up market. We're going to get into those here in just a minute. Next slide, Johnny. So not a ton to cover here, right? Bluetooth music streaming, as you know, we've got 4 watt, you know, closed off speakers here, front facing, so we get really good sound out of it. We've got an optional bass speaker stand that you can attach. This is kind of an interesting feature, right? We kind of got some grief for this at launch. You know, why would you ever want to stream Bluetooth music over the panel? And we're kind of with you, right? We kind of agreed. This wasn't something that we thought was going to be an absolute, you know, amazing new feature that you guys were going to love. It was just it was kind of easy for us to do, right? This is an Android tablet. It already supports Bluetooth music streaming. You know, this kind of helps lead us into some of the other features that we want to bring to the panel here down the road. So it's just kind of an easy feature for us to roll out. Now, that being said, since this has been out, it's been out since late last fall. Surprisingly, we've gotten a lot of good feedback about this. A lot of people using it, you know, to stream their Bluetooth music. I admittedly now use it to stream music as we're working out in the morning. We've got one here sitting on the table. I use it almost every day. It was kind of one of those things that turned into a kind of a cool thing. So, you know, probably not buying the IQ4 to stream Bluetooth music, but it gives you the option, right? Adds value to the panel. Use it, don't use it, up to you guys. But if you want to use it, you've got some good sounding speakers there. Next slide. Here's your options, right? Of course, we've got table stands, and I mentioned you got the speaker table stands, the bass stands in both gray and black, depending on the color panel that you're going with. So, you know, kind of a cool upgrade, right? We're hearing that techs are upgrading these bass stands as well, which is kind of a cool opportunity for techs to maybe get in and upsell the speaker and kind of pitch the customer on the ability to stream music from this. Next slide. Now, this is a cool new product that we're excited to announce. You know, this is probably coming out here in August, so we're a couple months out on this. But this is the next generation IQ Hub. So many of you are probably familiar with the current IQ Hub. As you know, it's kind of a value IQ panel, if you will, kind of a costed down version of the IQ panel. You know, we have certain, you know, I think it makes sense. There's certain applications or certain verticals where you don't need all the features, right? Take MDU, for example. We do a lot of, our panels are used a lot in the MDU market. A lot of times, you know, these panels are not being used for security and automation. A lot of times they're only being used for automation, to run the lock, to run the thermostat, and then security can be kind of an upgrade after that. But for a market like that, for an install like that, you don't need all the features. You don't need the cameras. You don't need the dual ref. You don't need all this stuff, right? So we launched about a year ago an IQ Hub, kind of a cheaper version of the IQ panel. You lose some of the features in exchange for a reduce in cost, right? Now, this is the next generation IQ Hub. This will replace the current IQ Hub as you know it. And again, this is coming out here in the next couple months. But the cool thing about this is it is an IQ4. So from a supply chain perspective, from a parts perspective, from a bill of materials perspective, it's all an IQ4. It's much easier for us to manage. It all runs through Foxconn. It's a great, you know, partner. We've had awesome success with them with all the IQ panels over the years. So this is going to be a lot easier to get out to market. It's going to be easier to manage. It will follow the same software updates as IQ4 for the most part. So easier for everybody. Now, this is an IQ4 minus a few features, right? So next slide, Johnny. You'll notice right off the bat that we go to kind of a plastic speaker grill. Again, kind of thinking about certain installations, commercial, you know, new construction, dirtier hands, that kind of thing. The plastic holds up a little bit better to that, but it's cheaper than the fabric. So again, it's kind of a costed down version of the IQ4. So we removed the camera, right? That was feedback that we got. We surveyed a bunch of dealers. You know, if you could save a few bucks and not have the camera, would you like that? A lot of people said yes. So on the IQ Hub, we removed the camera, we removed the panel glass break and the ability to do two-way voice. Again, things that we've surveyed dealers on that they said that they could do without in exchange for some cost. We go from 4 speakers down to 2 speakers, and we lose the dual SRF, right? So we just a single RF daughter card. Again, one of those features that is cool on IQ Panel 4 that we can do a legacy RF and a Power G, but not always used, right? Again, in MDU, you might only use one, you might not use either, right? A lot of people today are just installing Power G, right? Maybe they're just doing 319. So this panel will be single RF. So you have to order the SKU for whether it be 319, 345, 433, or Power G, right? You have to order the SKU for that particular frequency. But those are some of the things that we've pulled out of the panel in order to reduce the cost. So, again, depending on the type of installations you're doing, the type of market that you're working in, the type of vertical, this may be a better solution for you, right? Pull out some of the features, save a few bucks, features that you're probably not using on every install. So that was kind of the thought process behind this. So this is coming in August. Again, this is IQ Panel 4. It's the same software. It's the same hardware. We're just pulling things out of the panel. So this is going to come pretty quickly. We don't expect, there to be any major issues, again, because it is IQ4, and IQ4 has been out and has been fairly stable now for a while. So I'm excited to introduce the next generation hub. And again, this is something that we wanted to provide, a cheaper alternative, a value version of the panel for those installs that you need to save a few dollars on.
Great. Yeah, a lot
Next
of interest
slide.
on the hub on ESX.
Yes. Yep, that's going to be great. So go ahead. Yep, here it is. Okay, so this is another product of ESX that won an innovation award, and actually this was chosen to compete in the Tech Vision Best in Show Challenge. So we actually got to show the IQ Pro in front of a few judges, and try to compete for Best in Show. Unfortunately, we didn't win it. We lost out to a company that does some cool online stuff, but getting a lot of attention here. This is kind of a cool product. So the IQ Pro is unique. It's really kind of the first truly hybrid panel that was designed for today's modern technician, really. It's basically a DSC Neo, right? We take the architecture and the versatility of a DSC Neo, and we combine that with an IQ Panel 4. We basically mash them together. So you get the best of both worlds, right? Tried and true hardwired system and the IQ platform and everything that comes with the IQ platform. So this is a hardwired system, again, based on DSC Neo, that allows you to do up to 8 partitions. It allows you to add up to 16 secondary keypads, wireless and hardwired, up to 148 programmable outputs. Of course, you get, all of the mature portfolio of the DSC Neo, so power supplies, zone expanders, the ability to remotely mount a transceiver, all that good stuff of a hardwired system. But then you get all the benefit of an IQ Panel 4. So you get the built-in LTE, the dual path, right? You get the Bluetooth, you get the Wi-Fi, you get the alarm.com integration. You get the ability to add these IQ remotes. That was what Johnny brought up earlier, right? So if you want to, one of those 16 or, up to 8 of those 16 secondary keypads could be that new IQ Remote Power G, as we were mentioned earlier. But again, you get all the integration with alarm.com. So you get the backend, you get the over-the-air software updates, all that kind of stuff, right? So, and then probably most importantly is you get a really cool, easy installer app. So we designed an installer app that you can stick on your phone, stick on your tablet, and it mirrors the user-friendly UI of the IQ Panel 4, right? It basically follows the flow almost exactly of an IQ Panel 4. Basically, if you can program an IQ Panel 4 today, you can program the IQ Pro. So it's just a modernized hardwired system is probably the best way to put it, right? Again, a system that's easy to train on, easy to install, especially if you've coming off IQ Panel 4, it's gonna program the exact same way. But kind of again bringing the best of both worlds, the hardwired world and the IQ platform world, right? The wireless world. So really truly hybrid system, really built for every application. You could stick this in a 2,000 square foot home and do a hardwired takeover and add hardwired keypads or wireless keypads or add a 4-wire smoke loops, or you can stick it in a 100,000 square foot building and remotely mount your zone expanders, remotely mount your transceivers, for a better wireless range, all that kind of stuff. So really built for every application, modernized for today's installer, easy to program, easy to train on, just more user-friendly hardwired panel. So we're really excited about this. This is in beta today. We're getting crazy good feedback about this panel. In fact, before we really got too far into this, we started to survey a bunch of our dealers that use hardwired systems and kind of ask them, what do you like about your current system? What do you not like? What's your wish list? What would you like us to do? What would you like us to add? That kind of thing. So really kind of purpose built for the hardwired installer today, but an easier version of that, right? Just a much more user-friendly version of that. So that's coming out in September. We'll probably do more of a kind of a soft launch, more of an open beta sometime next month in July. So if you're interested in getting your hands on some pros, those should start to be available next month sometime. But again, just a very cool panel. Joel, who's on the background answering questions right now, has been very involved in the development of this. Is there anything you care to add about this, Joel? Anything that I've missed?
No, I think you hit all the high points there. I just like you said, I'm very excited for full launch and can't wait to do some technical deep dive webinars here in the future and some hands-on training.
Yes, yep. I'm glad you brought that up. We are planning some technical deep dives, as Joel mentioned. So we'll get into the weeds on this. We'll show you what it's all about, show you how to program it, and we've got an installation video in the works as well. So we'll make sure that gets distributed and posted on Facebook and all that good stuff. So coming quick. Again, probably be able to get your hands on it sometime next month, if not early August. And excited to get your feedback on that. Next slide.
Yeah, and everybody, if you are interested in getting into the beta program with the IQ Pro, please feel free. You got my email on here. This is Johnny. Please reach out and let me know. We still have a few that are prepared for beta testing, so please reach out if you're interested.
And then this is really to kind of wrap this up, right? Kind of the big vision here with kind of where we're going with some of this stuff is one platform, every application, right? We want you to be able to go from an 800 square foot install in a big MDU complex to a 10,000 square foot custom home, all the way up to a multiple hundreds of thousand square foot warehouse, right? One platform that works in every application. So we've kind of covered the IQ Panel 4 Hub, the value version of the IQ Panel, meant for a cheaper alternative, meant for MDU, meant for builder, meant for some of these verticals that don't need all the features and benefits of the IQ Panel 4. Of course, you get the IQ Panel 4, which is the replacement to IQ Panel 2, full suite of features. Then we step up to the IQ Pro, as we just mentioned, a hardwired system meant for both residential and commercial, based on the IQ platform, gives you all the integrations, the third-party integrations to control for the alarm.com backend, the connectivity that you get with the IQ Panel, but with all the versatility and all the portfolio that you get with the Neo. And then down the road here, we want to go to an IQ Pro Plus, which will be kind of a step up in commercial, right? Banking level stuff. More users, more partitions, that kind of thing. And then eventually we've got an IQ Pro Fire in the works, which is going to be our of course, our IQ version of a commercial fire panel. So again, kind of want a panel that works in every type of installation, but is based on the IQ platform. I think that is where the value is at, the ability of the alarm.com, the cloud-to-cloud integrations like Control4, for example, the ability to push software updates over the air, and most importantly, the ease of programming, the user friendliness, right? We want to speed up the training for your technicians. We want to make it more user friendly, more intuitive, and kind of base every panel, every application on one platform. So that's kind of the vision here over the next few years. That's where we're going with this. As we mentioned, we've got outdoor commercial products, indoor commercial products, the lockdown, the photoelectric beams, all that stuff, the mesh router system, that all is going to integrate and work all on one platform. So we're excited about kind of the direction we're headed here. So I think that's all that we really had. Like I said, this was really meant to be kind of a high-level overview, kind of tease you on the products that have just released or are coming out. Again, half of these we've already done these technical deep dives on. They're on YouTube. You can go search those today. The rest of them we plan to do over here over the next couple months. So keep an eye out for invite emails or posts to Facebook. These are all coming out pretty quick, and we're going to get into the weeds on some of these here over the next few weeks. So anything to add from anybody on my team?
Hey Johnny, can you drop your email in the chat there for contact? We got some people asking how they can join the beta program.
Absolutely.
Did we get all the questions answered, Joe? Anything?
I'm working on them now. There's a bunch flowing in all of a sudden.
Well, actually, I got a question for everybody here. We got a few poll questions as well before we jump into the giveaway. Very curious to know why everybody attended this webinar today. Were you not able to attend ESX? Were you really interested in some of the new IQ Pro products that are coming out? Are you here for the free equipment giveaway? Because I like the equipment, especially giveaways. But yeah, wow, looks like a lot of people are really interested in the IQ products. That's great. And 2% of the people are being honest.
Yeah, right. 1% here for the giveaway. That's okay. Awesome.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's cool. Obviously, we have a lot of folks that have been using Qualsys and JCI for a while. Again, I come from the dealer world, and I was on these webinars every single time. Never got any free equipment ever once. But yeah, that's good to know. We got another question. Which one of these IQ products do you think is going to have the biggest impact on your sales numbers? What do you see yourself selling the most? The IQ Pro, the Wi-Fi 6? At the event, I can tell you, a lot of folks were talking about Wi-Fi like it was talking about automation 10 years ago in the industry. People just didn't do it. It was just the thing that you didn't talk about. But now everybody's kind of adapted it. So yeah, I was curious to see how Wi-Fi would be absorbed by some of these folks. But looks like, yeah, the IQ Pro is killing it right now. That's great.
Getting a lot of all of the aboves coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put that in. This is what I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to know which one of the three is making the most headway, and that's good. So as the commercial marketing manager, that's great news for me. Thanks. And the final poll. This is another quick one. Just want to fire you guys through, and I want to get back to your day. This is a crazy industry that's all over the place. Where are you learning about where new products and industry trends are coming up? How many people are reading magazines on the websites? How many people are getting their information and new products from social media and Facebook groups? I'm sure a bunch of you guys are part of those social groups, learning about new equipment, new products and services that are coming out. We really want to know where stuff is coming from, what market is really giving you the most colleagues and vendors. Absolutely.
Interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Well, truthfully, how many emails? That's how I found out about everything. About a video doorbell 5 years ago, and now it's owns the industry. So great, awesome information. Well, hey, I appreciate everybody hopping on here. Jason, thank you so much. Joel, thank you for answering all the questions on chat. Bo, thanks for assisting with facilitation. Let you guys get back to your day and start crushing it with these sales. And please be in touch.
Giveaway.
Oh, you're
gonna give the giveaway, Doug?
Well, I was gonna give it to myself.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Sneaky. I like it.
So is the chat like blowing up right now about the giveaway?
No, we got to do it. We promised it to him.
Cool. I'm looking for all right. How about Jason? You come up with a number. Bo, you pick the name.
Come up with a number. What are we giving away here? Is it a Wi-Fi 6?
We're giving away a
Wi-Fi 6.
So it's number 130, between 1 and 132.
Between 1 and 132. Great. Let's go with 28.
28. All right. Let's see who it is. It is looking like Chad Crawford.
Chad Crawford.
Chad Crawford, you're not a JCI employee, correct? I don't think so. That name doesn't sound familiar. So awesome. Chad, you want an IQ Wi-Fi 6? We will reach out to you to get your information and get that sent to you.
Very
Awesome.
cool.
Congratulations, Chad.
Thanks everybody for joining. Bo, thanks again for reminding me, because I almost scored myself a Wi-Fi 6, but appreciate it. And again, new webinars are going to be coming up soon, deep dives on all of these new products. So stay tuned. And thank everybody for joining today. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. See you later.